There are things in our world and in our plane of existence that we cannot yet explain, but intrigue us nonetheless. Although, staring into the unknown for too long might mean it stares back at you. On today's episode of Haunted By, we explore some potential haunted house stories. Stay tuned.
All right. We have a special guest today. My boy Abraham AB Quintanilla. Just kidding, man. Now we got on today's Haunted By, we have Abraham. He's gonna tell some ghosties, some good stories, man. Like, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Absolutely. My name's Abraham. I guess just pretty much just talking about like some of the experiences that I had,
Yeah, man.
when I was a kid. I'm very skeptical when it comes to the paranormal. I really don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that, but I guess some of the experiences that I had kind of brought that curiosity up.
Okay.
You know, when I was a kid, when we first moved into the house that my old man lives at right now, that's kind of like where it all started.
Okay.
You know, unfortunately, my mom was pretty sick at that time. But the thing is that she loved watching a lot of horror movies and comedy. So a lot of times, me and my sister would tag along, watch some of these movies. One of the biggest ones was The Exorcist.
Okay. Yeah, classic.
Yeah,
My favorite horror movie.
Absolutely. When I was a kid, I remember parts of it, but I think the only thing that really stuck to me was the scene where they're in the desert and they see that statue.
Yeah, Pazuzu.
Exactly.
That's his name, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that always stuck to me, and that freaked me out when I was a kid. But other than that, as I got older, we would have, or me personally, I would have a lot of night terrors.
Okay.
Now, I'm not too sure why. We used to live in another place prior to the home that I grew up in, and wouldn't get nightmares, or that I can remember, because I was very, very young. But once we moved into this home, I don't know if it was the energy, maybe some sort of presence, maybe it was
The land, maybe.
maybe it was haunted, as they say, But I just remember I would have, these night terrors, nightmares, whatever you want to call it. I would sometimes, and sometimes I even as old as I am now, sometimes I could replay how I would get up crying, scared, and my parents, not necessarily my mom, but my old man, he's definitely as old school. You interrupt his sleep, it's like, that's it. You deal with it the way he would deal with it.
So you think these night terrors were paranormal related? You think?
I don't know, because um it was very strange. It could have been maybe like my imagination from being a kid was very vivid. Like I would always just be very active with my mind, and I guess it probably could have been something that I saw on TV, something that watching some of these movies with my parents, you know. Um,
So then these night terrors started, right?
yeah.
You started experiencing things. Like what would you experience?
So sometimes, and for some weird reason, um, when I would dream like my room.
Okay.
Like I would literally dream how my room looked as I fell asleep.
Okay.
And sometimes, which is very strange, was I could almost see myself sleeping. So it was kind of like that quote unquote out of body experience.
Yeah.
So I would just be there like, what is this? Why am I dreaming that?
Yeah.
You know, why am I dreaming seeing myself? And what was eerie was that a lot of times, like next to my bed, I would see like as they call it today, a shadow figure. You know, one in particular, which was very eerie, was there was one that would be like with no face, just a mouth. It
Oh,
would
wow.
be, it
No
would be
eyes, no nothing, just the
no
mouth.
no eyes, no face. It would just
Oh,
be like
wow.
a dark, tall, very lanky, very skinny figure. And I would be like, "What in the world?" And it would freak me out. And then I could remember just waking up, crying,
Yeah.
you know, and I wouldn't stare at this particular part of my room. And I guess to kind of paint the picture of how my room was, kind of seemed like it was an addition to the home.
Okay. So it was built after the fact.
It kind of seemed that way. I mean, when we purchased the home, that was the room. You know, it's a 3 bedroom. You know, it's a 3 by 1,
Yeah.
3 bedroom, 1 bath. So I was like, okay. I took this center room, and
No windows.
yeah, there's
No natural light.
exactly. It was right in the center of the home. There's 2 doors. One was towards a kitchen area, and the other side was towards like the restroom hallway area that we have pretty much on the layout of the home.
Okay.
And yeah, there's no windows, no natural light. The only light that would come in was probably just seep through the bottom of the
Under the door.
under the door. You know, heck, when I got as I was getting older, if I stayed up all night or something, falling asleep during the day was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, there's no light, you just get some good rest. You know,
Yeah.
but
Very dark. Very dark.
exactly, as a kid, I would leave one of the doors slightly open. We would put a night light. Yeah, because I would be pretty scared now. Yeah, maybe as a kid I was afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
But what was more interesting was, and to go back with those shadow figures,
Yeah.
was there was an area of the room, a very small area of the room. It was like a corner area of my room that seemed to be darker than the rest of the room,
Yeah.
and that would freak me out. And as I got older, you know, it would just come and go. But anytime I would fall asleep and I kind of felt this, I, I guess you could call it a presence or like a feeling or whatever. That's when I would feel or sense something just in that corner of that room.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty eerie. Now I don't know if the house is haunted. There was a couple of experiences that were in there.
So talk about one particular experience that you had with that dark corner.
Absolutely. So, as I got older, you know, I failed attempt to go to college at a different state, different city. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and at that time I was with my ex girlfriend at that time. Towards the end of our relationship ending, we used to get in some heated arguments, and I remember this one particular time. You know moving back home, you know, as a much older individual, and kind of felt all the negativity. You know,
Yeah,
you
negative
felt like
energy.
you felt like a failure. Your relationship's failing. Your old man is just looking at you like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know, so you just felt a lot of negative energy. And I remember this particular evening, I used to have this boxer with me, and her name was Lola. And excuse me, no, not Lola.
Cheekies.
Cheekies, yes. Yes, and one day I was just completely alone that day at home. Um uh I brought her in. I was about to go to sleep, and I brought in the dog, and I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out. And I still had a lot of this negative energy, and I had just had this argument with my ex-girlfriend at that time. And I just remember as I was falling asleep, um I felt my bed kind of like vibrating a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I guess to paint the picture, when I brought in my dog, she jumped on my bed, and she was at the foot of my bed, you know, pretty much laying at my feet, right? And a lot of times before I fall asleep, I do like a little bit of white noise. So I would have my TV on, just put the sleep timer at least like 20 minutes, you know.
To have some noise, to have some light.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mainly, I think it was just more for the light.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because of how dark that room would get.
Okay.
But yeah, I had her inside, um, and falling asleep, right? So all I remember is that as I'm asleep, and I'm a light sleeper, so anything I hear or any movement, I mean, I
You
just get
wake
up.
up.
Yeah, like who's that? You know.
Yeah.
So I felt my mattress kind of trembling,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, "What in the world?" So I started kind of like coming to, right? I started waking up a little bit, but then I heard like this low guttural, and that kind of caught my attention. So I was like, I started getting up and I started moving my foot slowly because I felt it more towards my feet. Well, as I was coming to and just kind of looking over, um, I could see my boxer, my dog. She was growling, like she just kept growling at that corner that I was mentioning where it would be just darker than the rest of the room. I was like, what in the world is this? You know, and
She's normally a sweet dog, like super sweet.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, she, I mean,
So
she looked aggressive. I'll tell you that. Like, just like a boxer, you know,
yeah, no,
just
but she's
mean
but she
to,
was a sweetheart.
oh,
Yeah.
big time sweetheart.
And then you see this transition.
Exactly. I mean, she was straight up attack mode. And I was like, what in the world? And I was kind of, you know, I was kind of freaking out,
Yeah.
you know, because I was just like, what is going on here? So just to kind of, you know, see what's happening, seeing my dog reacting to this area, um, I slowly started moving my leg, you know, away from her, and she just kept growling. And the little light that was seeping through the bottom of the doors, because we would leave, or at least myself, I would leave like this light on in our hallway. It was very dim, but that dim light would still come through, seeping through the bottom of the door. I could see that she was ready to pounce on
Yeah.
something. And as I was moving, you know, away from her, I started kind of testing. I was like, she's staring at this corner of my room,
The same corner.
that same corner that I would just always feel this like dark presence or this figure that was darker than the rest of the room. Um, I started like pushing her towards it, like kind of like saying like get him,
Yeah,
like
get him. Sick
cheeky.
balls. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was like, get him, cheekies, get him. And she literally jumped up on all fours and started lunging and bark. I mean, massively barking. And right there, I was like, no way. So I was like, there's no way. This is freaking me out. I mean, she was so mad, so aggressive, and just barking. And she looked like she was ready to just leap off my bed. That I just jumped out of my bed. I flipped the switch on, and when I turned on the light, I could see all the hairs on the back of her neck down to her tail, like that whole center part of her back, her spine, as you could say, was just so dark and just raised up, like she was ready to just tear into something. And what was so crazy about that, as soon as I turned on the light and I saw how aggressive she was and barking, and even like you could see some of the foam on the side of her.
You can tell how angry she was.
Yeah. When I turned on the light, she kind of like started like sniffing the air and looking around like, where did it go?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She's confused about it just is dissipating like that.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I was just like, this is weird. So I started talking to her, like what dog
Comforting.
owners do, baby
Yeah,
talk to their
comforting, yeah,
dogs,
comforting,
like,
yeah.
hey, are you okay? Blah,
Yeah,
blah.
of
This.
course.
And she just looked at me. She started wagging her tail. She started licking my hand. And she would kind of turn around back to that corner and just kind of like sniff.
Yeah.
And then just look back at me and just be calm about it and just like nothing happened. And I was just like, that was eerie, man. Like, what happened here?
Yeah, man.
And like I said, I don't believe in stuff like that, but seeing that really just brings up a lot of that coincidence.
So there's it brings up the question, like they say that babies and the dogs are very perceptive, or excuse me, animals are very perceptive to like something that's otherworldly, right?
Yeah.
What other experiences have you had in that house, but specifically that room?
Yeah. So again, and kind of seems like it fell along around this bad time. I guess like they say, when you have that negative energy, and you have that environment around you, it does kind of bring that negative.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that negative vibe and whatever it follows. And I remember one time I had these Bluetooth speakers. I actually have one of them, and one of those Bluetooth speakers, I actually have it at work.
Okay.
It's an old the brand is called UE. They used to call it the mini booms.
Yeah, but way back in the day, yeah. I
Yeah, way
remember
back in the day, and I used to have both of them because I love that stereo sound, that
Okay.
that left channel, right channel,
Mhm.
and yeah, I had them on top of my dresser, and I was very meticulous on taking care of them, make sure they were fully charged, make sure they were off,
Yeah.
you know, and these particular speakers have a button in the back. It's you physically have to like swipe the little button left or right to turn it on or to turn it off. So this particular evening, just normal evening, and about to fall asleep, and I had him set up on my dresser, had my TV as usual, just kind of on, and got myself into bed. And I still remember like seeing this kind of that recurring dream of me seeing my room.
Yeah.
So I remember I was asleep and I was dreaming my room again, just me, very calm, very just, just kind of very strange, just looking around. But then I started hearing something, and this is through my dream. From what
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
remember, I can remember I looked at my speakers and I can hear like a white noise coming through, very, very like subtle, very low. And
Okay.
then like if somebody was turning up the volume,
Okay.
you know,
Slowly turning up the volume.
yeah, like very, very slowly turning. And
Okay.
I remember as in my dream, me kind of looking at it and getting closer to the speaker, like, and I even asked it like, what are you saying? And it sounded like there was like a kind of like, have you ever seen those videos or clips of like paranormal investigators using a spirit box
Yeah.
where you can hear like that?
Here's something that it says something or something like
Yeah,
that.
like you can hear like something comes through, or or it's collecting a channel of different wavelengths and just kind of piecing together different audio clips.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounded like that was about to come through. And I remember as I'm dreaming this, I'm kind of waking up because it was starting to freak me out. So I was like, I think this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I was just waking up, and as I'm waking up, I can hear my speakers are actually on,
Oh wow.
and I'm like, what in
Even,
the?
even though you turned them off and you made sure they were off and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a not only an audible chime to let you know that they're on,
Yeah.
but there's also a little LED light
A
in
little
the
blue light. Is it blue?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
I
little
remember that.
LED, a little blue light in the front of the little speaker that would let you know that it's on. So as I'm looking, as I look over towards my desk, or excuse me, my dresser, and I'm seeing it, and there's no lights on. And as I'm kind of like, as I'm staring towards that the speakers, it seemed like it would get louder
Yeah.
and louder.
At
And
this point, you're awake. Or still your dream.
yeah, I'm coming to. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
already waking up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, this isn't a nightmare. This is for real. So I just remember it was starting to freak me out. I kind of threw my blankets off, and what was very strange too, not to digress, but like where I had these speakers was in the same vicinity where
Yeah.
that dark area was.
That dark energy was.
Exactly. So I was just like, what? So I remember as I kind of jumped off my bed,
Yeah.
threw my blankets off, jumped out of my bed, and I had my back towards the speakers. It sounded like it was just all out, full volume, and I can hear like something was starting to come through.
Wow.
And as soon as I turned on the light, that was it.
Wow.
That was it, and I went up to the speakers. I literally grabbed them. I'm stumbling because I'm still coming to. This is probably like, I want to say anywhere between 2 and 5 a.m. So I was already in
Yeah.
a pretty good deep sleep. Just coming off of that, and I'm here stumbling, trying to gather myself. And I remember I grabbed one of the speakers, and I flicked the little switch in the back just to say, oh, maybe I did have them on.
Yeah.
Because even though these particular speakers, if you leave them on, there is a function on there that they'll automatically turn off
after a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So I flicked it on, and it had the audible chime that said, "You're turning me on."
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah.
So they were
yeah.
obviously 100% off.
Yeah, they're 100% off, both of them.
Wow.
So I turned one, and then I turned the other one on as well, and both of them turned on, and I was like, that was eerie. And then I turned them off, and I was like, yeah, they've been off.
That's wild.
Yeah, that was super eerie, and I remember it took me probably another probably an hour or two to just go back to sleep, because I was just replaying that in my mind, and I'm here tired, having to go to work the next day, and I'm like, I don't want to close my eyes, because what if this happens again?
I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine something like that. Because let me ask you a question: these shadowy figures, did they have a hat?
No.
No.
From what I can remember, or yeah, what I can recall is that they didn't have like a particular hat or anything. It seemed like they just had long hair.
Oh wow, that's the first time I hear that.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a show on Netflix that kind of depicts these type of figures, and it's so crazy. When I saw the preview to this show, I think it's called a Cherry Bomb or Cherry Blossom.
Okay.
And so it's a very underrated horror show. And I remember one of the creatures that came out, one of these like demons from that show or entity, kind of depict a little bit like that. And I was like, it kind of freaked me out, because I was like, that's kind of what I saw, but this is.
So the reason I ask you about
Yeah.
the hat is because I mean if the listeners know, I mean they know about Hat Man and everything, right? Is that sometimes people see the shadowy figure with a hat, right? I remember one of my experiences. I had two paranormal experiences in one, right? What you're talking about, where you can see yourself sleeping.
Yeah.
I saw that. I experienced that. I was in my room. I could see myself sleeping. So here's the first thing that happened. I was having a dream. I knew I was in a dream. I was in my truck. I was driving, except I was in the back seat. I wasn't driving. There was nobody in the driver's side, nobody in the passenger. I was in the back seat. And we were heading towards a wall. And I couldn't steer anything because I was in the back seat. So when we hit the wall, I woke up. But I woke up into another dream. And that other dream was me seeing myself like you saw yourself.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I can see myself in my dream asleep in my bed, the exact same way I was actually sleeping. But the thing is I saw a figure in the corner with a hat. And when I saw that figure, I was so exhausted. I was so tired. I didn't want to wake up and have to cleanse the house and get rid of this thing. So I just rolled over. But then I got frustrated and I threw my elbow at the figure out of frustration. And when I did, I remember prior to that, I couldn't move because I was so tired. But I was so frustrated and I didn't want to deal with this thing that I threw my elbow in the dream. And in real life, I woke up to me throwing the elbow.
No, okay.
And
yeah.
I look over to where the thing would have been.
Yeah.
And there was nothing there. But I woke up to me throwing my actual elbow.
Yeah.
So that's my encounter with a dream within a dream, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Also with a Hat Man. But going back to the Hat Man really quick. He's been around for a couple of years. People talk about the Hat Man. When I was a child, my sister would say that she would see a figure outside of the kitchen window at my parents' house. And he was wearing a hat. And mind you, this is like 1996, 1995, man.
Okay.
And at first, she's like, I just thought it was like some of my dad's like work clothes and he left it out there, but it was actually hanging out outside of the window.
Oh, that's
And this was back in the 90s. Hatman didn't, you know, I'm talking about Hatman, right? Hatman.
No, I honestly.
Hatman is a paranormal thing like that people talk about. Yeah.
Is it kind of like the Mothman?
No, not really. Hatman is what you see in your dreams.
Or like the Slender Man?
Kind of. It's similar to Slender Man. Similar to that.
Yeah.
He's been around for about a decade. But mind you, this is back in like the 1990s, man. So Hat Man, in my opinion, is a thing. I don't know why you see and when I say a Hat Man, you have to picture a silhouette with like an old school hat. Have you seen the movie Tombstone?
Yeah.
Those type of hats. Just so
Kind of like those old school top hats.
That's what I remember seeing in my dream within a dream. But
Was there a particular color? Was it just completely
shadow,
black?
just shadow,
okay,
just
okay,
shadow,
I see what you mean.
a
Okay,
silhouette.
okay.
But since then, I've never seen them because I mean, hold on, I keep it really gangster. not to take away from your story.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that story about the Hat Man, but it is pretty crazy because as you're talking about that, it does kind of remind me of like people seeing like I'm not too sure what part of the states it is. There's somewhere in the Midwest where they talk about the Mothman or the Mothman
in
prophecies.
West Virginia, yeah.
Yeah, and of course you got like the Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil.
Yeah. So and no, in my particular experience, no, this figure was just a dark.
That's wild that you hear with long hair.
I've never heard it was
before. That's wild.
It was strange. Like it was so weird seeing that, and I have no clue. I don't even know how I even like dreamt it or thought of that or whatever it is. My imagination seeing that, and even looking back at some of the horror movies that when I was a kid, watching them with my parents, it kind of reminded me a little bit of maybe Jacob's Ladder, but they didn't have any sort of entities. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. Yeah, you see where he's kind of going through his hallucinations, and then he would see like those demonic figures where they're kind of like shaking their head. There would be no face, just a mouth. So I'm kind of thinking that probably came from that, but
maybe
seeing it as a shadow person, a shadow figure, but with long hair.
Yeah, that's
that was
unnerving.
Yeah, and a little bit is could be also like kind of like the way that the little girl came out in the ring.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
With
Just like that.
Face.
Yeah. Maybe even a little bit. I used to watch this. Oh, not watch, but I was a big fan of reading these books, which they made a movie out of. It's called oh man, what's it called?
Not Are You Afraid of the Dark? The other one. What is it called?
Yeah, it's like
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, Scary Stories. Yes.
Yes.
Arlstein.
Yeah.
No,
Goosebumps. No, that's Goosebumps.
That's Goosebumps, right? This one, man, I'm kind of drawing blanks with it, but I'm kind of
My Little Pony.
Close. And actually, referring to the movie, it wasn't Cherry Blossoms. It was actually called the series was called Brand New Cherry Flavor.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so some of
that's creepy. It's a creepy image.
Yeah, some of the demonic entities that come out were very, and the one that kind of reminds me was this image.
Yeah.
Right here,
dude.
But just no
brother,
face.
Brother, That's dude. That's
Yeah.
No. That reminds me of Scarecrow from Batman Begins.
Yeah, just picture no eyes, literally like that, just no face, no eyes, and just long hair, that's dark.
Terrifying. That's terrifying.
Yeah, so I remember like when I saw these entities that they were portraying on that series, on that show, I was like, it kind of stunned me because I was like, that's kind of like what I saw, and when I was thinking about this or dreaming about these entities or whatever, was way before this show was even possibly even thought of or anything.
That was the thing.
Yeah,
like my sister saw Hatman before Hatman was even zeitgeist, And I remember, and I tell her, I'm like, do you remember this? And she doesn't remember, man.
That's crazy.
As a kid, I remember that though. Like, because I remember specifically the way she described Hatman. Well, what I interpret as Hatman is just like a man hanging out outside the window. You only see the shadows, like only see the silhouette, white brim hat. And later on, after who knows how many years, people started talking about Hatman. And I was like, that's what my sister saw. But she doesn't even remember that. She blocked it out. Maybe it was so traumatic for her, she blocked it out.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for me, maybe I have forgotten some things, but I'm very curious. Like, I always want to know why. why, what is this?
Yeah.
Why was I thinking about this?
Yeah.
You know, and even more so, like, um, before my mom passed away, she used to study with Jehovah's Witnesses. So I used to kind of go into those studies with her, and so a lot of this stuff I kind of like drew it as, you know what, it's just my imagination. It's just me. It's just, and reading more towards like the Bible, not necessarily in like a religious
Yeah.
aspect of it, but more of like a spiritual and trying to go, you know, make sure I'm doing things right, I guess, but I don't know why I would think about these things,
Yeah.
and even thinking like, am I intermingling, like, kind of like saying like, is this something like biblical, or is this something like
Well, I was thinking more like psychological
yeah,
aspect because you were going through something very negative. There's a
exactly.
lot of negative energy going on. Let me ask you this: have you since these experiences felt anything else?
Well, I mean, besides having those type of nightmares and seeing that, and mainly the one that really kind of uh freaked me out the most was just the speakers, right?
Yeah.
Was because, I mean, I guess you could say like, oh, things will move, things go bump in the night. Even the place that I work at, um, supposedly it's one of the more active or haunted places. Um,
Oh wow.
in El Paso, there used to be a long time ago. I used to listen to this radio show by a local author. His name was Ken Hudnall.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard
I
of him.
haven't. No.
So he used to have a radio show, on AM 600,
Okay.
and he would kind of try to mimic a little bit of the Art Bell show.
Yeah.
The
Coast to coast.
Yeah, Coast to Coast.
I was listening to that the other day on YouTube.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
great show, great show.
Amazing
Yeah,
show, man. Actually,
yeah.
my
Oh yeah.
our mutual friend David is the one that put me onto that one. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I used to listen to that show quite often, and especially where I work, it's pretty much you're just processing images all day, and listening to like radio shows, podcasts, something, and listening to these particular stories. I mean, yeah, it was pretty cool. Again, it's a reference to horror, and especially like conspiracies and the paranormal in general, right?
So what occurred at your workplace?
So a lot of people say they see like supposedly entities or ghosts of little kids. A couple of times people have told me in the hallway they'll see some old lady.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And, sometimes in some of the stalls you'll hear stories where people say that one of the stalls will kind of like bang open, like if somebody opened the stall door and closed it, water running.
Oh wow.
Me personally, maybe, hope I'm not jinxing myself, because I usually close that site.
Yeah.
And
we got a special guest for you.
Right.
That ghost is coming out right now.
Yo, what's up? Don't be scaring me over there.
No, yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, you would hear these type of stories from other coworkers, other employees there. But me personally, I've never seen it.
You never seen it?
No.
So let me going back. Like we're going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So I moved into a new building about 2 months ago, right? And it's not my department's building, but it belongs to a different department. And when we moved in, the director of that department gave us a tour, and he made a real passive comment. Yeah, some people say it's haunted, but I don't really believe in that. That was it, right? That was it. I left it alone. So I want to say maybe about 3 weeks ago, I'm going to the bathroom, and there's normally a door that's open, right? And directly so the door that I'm leaving the bathroom, the door that's open is at my 12 o'clock. My door to get into my area is at 9 o'clock, right? So my door was closed when it's normally open. So 12 o'clock is open when it's normally closed. 9 o'clock is closed when it's normally open. They had the old school, the windows, those rectangular windows. Remember, like in your old schools, in your school, those long windows where you can see reflections.
I get you. Yeah.
So I'm walking to my door to get into my area, and I see in the reflection at an angle, I can see into the area that's normally closed, but now is now open. And there's a reception area right there. And normally, it's a lady. She's a very sweet lady. She is just sitting there waiting for people to come in. But this time, in the reflection of my door, I can see a tall, curly haired, light haired woman standing there. But I couldn't see her face. So I couldn't tell if she was facing away from me or facing towards me, with the hair in her face.
That's
So
crazy.
I see her and I'm like, okay, whatever. I was like, wait. And this
Did
is
she
all,
have her back towards you? Or?
I don't know. I can't
Oh,
tell.
okay, okay.
I couldn't
okay.
tell.
It was just a reflection
It
of
was a
seeing.
reflection.
Okay.
So then I said, I'm like, and I'm walking towards my door and I think, I'm like, who the hell was that? So I walk towards the door that is now open and I peek in and there's nobody in there. Right? I start to think maybe she scurried down the hallway when she heard me come out of the bathroom. I would have seen her scurry down because I could see the hallway. So then I think maybe I saw something. Maybe I just imagined something, right? I retrace my steps and I go back to the bathroom and I come out and I look at the exact same spot where I could see the exact same things. But this time I could see the reflection of the computer monitors that she was blocking the first time.
Oh, I get you. That's
So she wasn't. So when the first time I saw it, she was blocking those computer monitors because she was there. And I'm not. And I'm not. When I say tall, I mean I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'5", man. I'm short. This woman was at least 5'9", 5'9", 5'8".
that's crazy. So
And so
it was like a full body apparition that
it
you
was
saw that's
basically, yeah.
even blocking other.
And so
Okay.
and so here's the even weirder part.
Yeah.
So I went back to my workspace. I speak to my coworker. I'm like, hey, I think I just saw a ghost. And she's like, I believe that.
Oh,
And
really?
that's it. That's it. That's what she said. So later on, I'm talking to the cleaning ladies. And I'm like, hey, have you guys ever seen anything? And they both give me this look. What did you see? And I'm like, I explained it to them. And immediately they're like, dude, we hear things when, like, in your area, like where I sit, we're vacuuming and we hear people go shh in our ears.
Dang.
And I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, yeah. So they tell me that story, and I describe the woman to her. They have a coworker that kind of resembles her, but it was not her. Like, it was a short lady with black hair. It was brown hair. It was like light brown hair, right? So the next maybe 2 days later, I'm hanging out, I'm working, and somebody walks by and they're like, hey, yada yada yada. They start talking to me and they're like, are you the one that saw something? And I was like, who told you? They're like, dude, let me tell you what I see.
Oh,
So there's a manager who stays there late at night,
yeah, yeah,
and he has his own office,
yeah.
but he works overnight, so he'll stay till midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And he'll be working, like Chinga working, right? And then he says he'll see somebody pass by. And he won't think about it. He's like, whatever. It's a cleaning lady. And then later, it clicks. It is 1 a.m. The cleaning ladies have been gone for 3 hours.
Oh, man.
Of course, he'll look at his watch. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In the area where we work, you need key card access to get in. The person who would have passed by would have needed key card access, and you can hear the door open.
Yeah, you can hear that audible chime and all that, right?
Beep.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, man. And he told me, I was telling him the story about what I saw, and another coworker happened to pass by, and she also has curly hair. She has curly hair, and she's not. Her hair isn't as dark. And I remember, I that's the one who told everybody, because I asked her, I'm like, hey, were you over in this office? And she's like, no. And she sees me. She doesn't even hear the conversation. She sees me talking to him, and she looks at me. She's like, it wasn't me, bro.
Oh.
So it's a little eerie, man. Like, and you know what? I've never in my life actually seen something. I've sensed something. I've heard things. I've definitely gotten rid of things. But that's the first time in my life I've actually ever seen something.
That's crazy. Yeah, because
Yeah, man.
yeah, it kind of like reminds me a lot of what I hear when some other operators and employees, coworkers where I work at, talk about, and the thing is, me, like I said, me personally, I've never seen it, and the reason I brought up this individual, Ken Hudnall, because he did mention it, that area of El Paso is one of the few areas that is extremely active
Yeah.
with paranormal activity,
Is it because the military land? Is that why?
Oh, yeah, very, very close to the military.
It's close to a military base.
Yeah.
We're not gonna disclose exactly where it is, but it's close to a military base.
Exactly, and I mean, from what I hear from other individuals that have spoken to me about it, I mean, I know that there's a couple of ladies that are like, no, there is an old lady that walks up and down here these halls, and especially there was a time period that I worked extremely late at night, wouldn't get out till like almost 2 a.m. So a couple of even individuals that I would ask, like, hey, I hear supposedly there's a ghost around here, whatever, and I'm kind of like psyching myself because I'm the one that's closing the site, where I'm like, ooh, like what's going on here, and they would be like, no, yeah, there was a kid that's actually they'll play tricks with you, like hiding, like almost like playing hide and seek, and I'm like, no way, and me, I'm not looking for it, I'm just kind of like, reason I'm listening or hearing is I'm preparing myself if it's some weird coincidence or whatever. I'm like, you ain't gonna scare me.
You know the thing about our culture is that when we talk about these stories, people don't dismiss us. They don't. They're perceptive to it. They listen to us. They say, like in my experience, what did you see? Because they have seen something.
Exactly. And I mean, it's hard. Like I said, I really don't believe in stuff like that. But it's hard not to say that there isn't something there, because that, you start, your curiosity, and then not only that, but like, for example, like a little of my personal experience, whether it was just my own negative vibe or whatever it was that I experienced hearing the white noise and seeing this.
Why are you trying to dismiss your stuff? Don't dismiss your stuff. Like I tell everybody, man.
Right.
Look, think of it this way. There are things that we cannot explain in this world, right? We don't have the mental capacity right now. We don't have the knowledge. We don't have the science to explain it, right? Let's say, for instance, for some reason, you have a nuclear reactor and you drop it into the 16th century.
Oh,
these dudes have no idea what they're looking at, but all that science adds up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's gonna mess with them. Yes, of course it's gonna mess with them, but it's all legitimate. But what's it gonna be to them? It's gonna be alien. It's gonna be something that's beyond their comprehension. So when it comes to paranormal stuff, I personally believe, this is my personal belief, is that it's stuff we don't comprehend yet, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely. And that's
so don't downplay your experience,
right?
No, don't downplay it, man. No, I'm telling you the truth. Don't downplay it.
Yeah, no, I get you, man. I get you, and that's the thing is like I said, that's just like, my way of like questioning it.
Yeah.
Like, why did this happen? How did this happen? Where did it come from? How was it even conjured up, or why did I experience that?
And you know what? Maybe those questions are the reason why.
Probably. Yeah. And like I said, I don't look for stuff like that. Well, I don't want to say that I don't, because as I was getting older as I was getting older, and me personally, I'm a huge fan of horror movies. Huge fan of horror movies. And I remember in high school, me and my friend, we were always watching this show. It's called Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
And there was another show. It was a great series on, I don't remember the network, but it was called Scariest Places on Earth. Okay. And those shows were awesome. They really just sparked a lot of curiosity, and especially for me, just being a huge horror fan, and just delving into like what they mean by the paranormal, right?
Okay.
So, and especially around October, stuff,
Spooky season, yeah.
season, and it's
Okay.
just really coming through. One of my friends, she used to live close to the high school I went to. I went to Andrews. So she used to live on
Okay.
right across the elementary school. I think it's called Newman.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the high school Andrews, Newman, and then she lived on some street. I don't recall, but I know it was around the Waldorf
Yeah.
or Arrowhead, Tropicana area.
Yeah.
So I remember when she was telling me that we got into like talking about paranormal ghost stories and all this baloney, right? Or all this stuff. And
Don't dismiss it.
right.
Abraham, don't dismiss it.
And she was just like, hey, well, sometimes me and my sister will hear whispers at night. I'm real.
What kind of whispers from?
Yeah,
From what? From what?
exactly. So I was like, whispers. So like, what are you talking about? And she was like, no, yeah, my mom has a collection of these porcelain dolls in our living room.
Oh wow.
And she has them on like these curio cabinets, right? And there's a lot of them that are like dressed up in certain styles, like little cowboys or milkmen, whatever it is. And she has some that are like religious.
Okay. What particular about these religious ones?
So there was nuns or
Okay.
yeah, like dressed like little nuns and stuff like that. She's like, those are the ones, and I'm like,
they're the mischievous ones.
exactly. And I was just like, I don't believe you, whatever, But inside me, I was like, what is this? Like, I could see that when she's talking to me,
It was
like you could see that, and through her eyes, you could see the truth, And I'm just like, oh man, this is kind of eerie, but I was playing it off, like I don't believe you, whatever. And she's like, no, come over one day.
Okay.
Well, I'll leave you and, you and your homie alone in my living room. And I want you to experience this.
So you actually did it?
Yeah. I don't know how me and my friend convinced her mom that we're here to quote, we're here to
ghost hunt.
Oh, yeah. We're just like, we where I was like, talking to the lady, I was like, I heard supposedly that you guys have hear whispers, and the lady was like, yeah, my daughters tell me that they hear whispers at night. You can even hear them shuffling, like they're moving around, and nobody's there. Sometimes I guess the way the house is set up, you got the living room, right? You got these curio cabinets at like where end tables would probably go, but they were like.
So then you think the setup has something to do with the carrying the sound over?
Possibly, because I know that the house isn't extremely large, but the way it's set up is like you have this.
But you said something. You said something that kind of struck with me.
Yeah.
You said that you convinced the mom.
Yeah.
So talk about that. Like.
Yeah. Because I was asking her like, hey, well, me and my friend were here. She had mentioned that you guys had these porcelain dolls that supposedly talk or they whisper, and you have like possibly paranormal activity, because they would also tell me that your kitchen light would flicker, and sometimes you can hear like somebody getting themselves like a glass of water.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like the faucet would turn on and then slowly turn off.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, what? And when I was talking to the lady, like she's like, yeah, she did tell me that you guys are gonna come over. Yeah, sometimes, I would tell the girls like, why do you have the water running?
Yeah.
And they're like, and they're both asleep. They're both in their room.
Like, Mom, we didn't have that.
Exactly. And they're like, she's like, yeah, and this happens late at night when we're all about to, when we're all asleep, like, around midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., various times that it's when everyone's just knocked out.
Yeah, when everyone's dead asleep.
Exactly.
So then you said you convinced the mom.
Yeah, I said, okay, well, she's like, back in the good old days when Walmart was 24/7. Yeah, they went to Walmart. They went to Walmart. They said, we're gonna go to Walmart.
Okay, good.
It's probably gonna take us a few minutes.
Okay.
You guys just stay here. We're gonna turn off all the lights.
Okay.
So me and my friend were like, all right, let's do this. And inside me, after hearing the stories, I was like, oh man, this is I'm freaking out. It's, it's kind of eerie, and the way the house is set up. You have the living room, as I mentioned before, you got the curio cabinets. Right? And then as you're kind of going past the living room, there's like a kind of like a wall, but there's two entrances on either side of the wall, which leads to the kitchen / dining area.
Okay.
And then pretty much if you look towards your left from the hallway doorway area, it's a long hallway that at the end of the hallway is a restroom, and then you could see two openings on one side of the wall, which are the two bedrooms, and then there's another bedroom on the opposite side.
Okay.
So two on the left, one on the right.
Okay.
And I don't know why I decided to sit in this couch that's staring right down this hallway. And my friend is sitting at this other couch, just staring right into a wall where a couple of other karaoke cabinets were set up. Okay. So when they took off, it was pretty dark. The only thing we could see was just the moonlight reflecting.
And you guys are freaking out at this point already, I'm assuming, I mean, I would be freaking out.
Right. I mean, we were both stone cold quiet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering if you want to paint the picture, you're sitting in a stranger's house, completely 100% dark,
exactly
silent, looking at a bunch of fucking dolls.
Oh man,
of course you'll be creeped out.
Yeah.
So then what happened with these? Like when you're sitting there?
So we're sitting there, we're stone cold quiet. I mean, we were sitting there, didn't even say a word for like, I want to say about 15 minutes or more, and my mind is playing tricks on me. I'm trying to just stare straight towards where the entranceway is, the
hallway,
the main door, not the hallway.
Oh, no,
because I'm just staring straight, and then towards my right, is my peripheral is the hallway, and I'm like, am I seeing something moving across from the rooms?
Oh, so your mind starts, maybe you thinking your mind starts playing tricks on you.
And I'm just there, just sitting there, just seeing this, or
So what do you hear? What do you hear? Do you hear anything? You hear a whisper?
No. And the thing is you can kind of hear like house settling noises, like maybe a little creak here, a little creak there. Nothing nothing where you're hearing like movements of like something shuffling.
Okay.
Like somebody moving like a porcelain or a ceramic mug.
None of that.
Nothing.
The whole time the ladies are gone. You don't hear anything.
So this is probably, I want to say, close to an hour that they were
gone.
Wow. Yeah, so we were there for a while. It was to the point that, after a good 15, 20 minutes of just being stone cold quiet, then me and my friend just kind of started talking to each other. We were just like,
okay. So you guys weren't quiet the whole time.
Yeah. So we kind of broke the silence by like,
good.
Hey, did you hear anything? And my friend's like, no, are you seeing anything move? And we really couldn't see anything move because it was so dark. I mean, even despite that there was like, the street light and the moonlight,
you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, she had some pretty thick curtains, and we really couldn't see anything on where the karaoke cabinets were, or we didn't hear anything out of the ordinary moving. Towards them getting closer to the home, we kind of felt like we heard something in the kitchen.
Yeah,
maybe like kind of like the way water runs through like a ice maker.
Okay, that sounds legit.
Exactly. And then I mean, because I'm here on edge, like, man, when are they coming out?
Of course.
When you would hear something like that, it was just like just kind of like little jump here and there, but because I'm with my friend, I'm like, nah, nothing's scaring me. Nothing. Yeah.
But then they roll up. What happens?
They roll up. They're coming in. You can almost feel like the tension
of course,
in that area was just kind of like, just leaving.
Yeah.
And when they turned on the light, what was crazy is I remember seeing the setup of these particular porcelain dolls. None of them moved except for the ones that they did mention, the mischievous ones.
Yeah. The nuns.
So the nuns, the way they were positioned,
holy hell,
they were a couple of them were like in prayer form.
Oh my God.
Over a table. And then there was some that she had set up behind them. Kind of like if they were just looking right behind them, kind of like almost following them to prayer, the way she had set up, right?
Yeah.
When she turned on the light, one of them looked like it just turned over and looked at my friend. Like if it was staring at him. And then my friend was like, I think that one's staring at me.
Bro.
Yeah. And I'm like,
and you guys,
I looked over and I was like, it's kind of weird because like from where I'm sitting, it didn't look like they were moved, but where I went to where he was positioned and sitting,
it looked like it totally.
Yeah, you could definitely see like if it was like a slight movement, and I'm like, nah, dude,
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Yeah, so my friend was like, I think that one is freaking staring at me, and I remember he went up to the karaoke cabin. He's just like mad dogging that doll. I was like, what? You
What
know,
did he do? He just fucking
yeah, he
started
just,
hitting this doll, bro.
he just started like, like, well, you got something to say, you know, and me, I'm kind of following his type of energy. Yeah, I was like, dumb doll, this and that, but inside me, I was like, that's eerie, man. Like, I can't believe that this thing actually looked like it turned.
Crazy, man.
You know, but the other dolls, I just was kind of looking at them, and what's so eerie was as we were kind of like trash talking to this particular, it seemed like the other dolls that were around, like you can almost feel like a movement of eyes.
Oh man.
And I was just like, am I really seeing this, or is just my mind
creepy, man.
freaking
That's
me out?
creepy, man.
Yeah, so
man.
yeah, it was quite the experience of seeing that, and I don't know, man. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you right now, Abraham, my friend, you did a bang up job of fucking creeping me out. Fuck those dolls.
oh man, it's eerie. I mean, even to this day, like, sometimes I go through that area. There is a gym up there, the Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
I go through this area of Alcan, and sometimes I go real late at night.
And it creeps you the fuck out.
That because of that Newman, and
because of that experience.
Not only because of that experience, but because how dark this school is. Yeah. Especially so late at night. There isn't any street lights from that side of the street or where the school is at, the Newman school. And if you've seen that trailer of Weapons and you see those kids running out almost Naruto style, it's insane. It's insane because, like, sometimes even before this movie even came out, sometimes I'm just there driving. I'm like, don't look, your peripherals, right? Don't look. And I'm here, I look at the freaking school.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, am I seeing kids running? I'm just like, nah, it's just me, man. I'm just here. And I'm a big metalhead, so I'm here. I just throw up the music.
Man, throw up the
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the experience that I've had personally when it comes to the paranormal. And
holy hell, Abraham, you really touched on a bunch of whole mess of crazy things, man. We had a great conversation.
Yeah, man. I mean, these are the couple of story or a few things that have happened.
Yeah, we're ready for next time around. We're ready for
absolutely,
round 2,
man. Yeah, definitely. When that opportunity comes again, I definitely have a couple more. And just in horror stories or horror movies in general.
Yeah, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.
Do you want to plug anything? Do you have any? So I know you don't have socials, but do you want to plug anything?
No, I mean, I just want to say, man, I truly appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about my my experience with the paranormal, and I huge fan of your podcast.
Thank you, brother.
Haunted by, and of course the other one, the Bro Monroe.
Thank you.
I know that's your the extension of your podcast. So I truly appreciate it once again, and thank you for having me, man.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Haunted by is created by me, El Búho Mudo, aka Milo. Sound design is by Iridescent Nebulae. Again, that is Iridescent Nebulae with sound design. Special thanks to them. If you or anyone you know would like to be on Haunted by, please shoot me a DM on Instagram. Shoot me an email. This can be anonymous. You don't have to come on to tell your story. You can leave me a voicemail. We can record over Zoom. Anything you'd like. I want to hear your story. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Good night.